It's the Sheriff Podcast, baby. Yeah. It's the Sheriff, AHL Man of the Year. 500 pro fights in his career. Got the record for most ice fights in a season. You fought the Sheriff, lucky you're still breathing. It's the Sheriff, AHL Man of the Year. 500 pro fights in his career. Got the record for most ice fights in a season. You fought the Sheriff, lucky you still filmed the pod today. You listening tomorrow. The heavyweight champ, yeah, Sean McMahon. 13-year pro, yeah, he holding it down. Big man playing it right, thumbs up to the crowd. Let's go. Rookie season suited up, most tilts in the A, man. Sheriff badge on the bucket, heavy can play, man. Podcast trending, thanks for rocking with us, bro. Lived out his dream, yeah, he played in the show. Danny Grange managing, helping us gain
Welcome everybody to an exclusive edition of The Sheriff. Boy, oh boy, do I ever have a treat for you. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight comes from a very decorated hockey family. So decorated, in fact, that the family is known for leadership, championship, and game-winning goals. My guest tonight is the second youngest of this hockey dynasty, and I'm about to introduce him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, I would like to introduce to you my guest tonight. He hails from Scarborough, Ontario. At 6 foot, 195 pounds, he is a middleweight. He was drafted 12th overall by the Niagara Ice Dogs in the 2016 OHL draft. He finished second in OHL rookie voting his rookie season. He set a new franchise record for points by a first-year Ice Dogs player. He was named to the 2017 All-Rookie team. He was drafted 51st overall to the Los Angeles Kings in the second round. He was named Ice Dogs captain in 2020, won a gold medal for Team Canada in the World Junior Championships. He formed a line with Quinton Byfield, Devontae Smith-Pelly, which created the first all-black pro line since Herb Carnegie, Ozzie Carnegie, and Manny McIntyre, ladies and gentlemen. Made his NHL debut April 1st versus the Winnipeg Jets, the 2024 AHL Man of the Year. My guest tonight, Mr. Akil Thomas. How are you doing, my man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. I got to apologize for that long intro, but when I was doing my research, Akil, I got so much info that I kind of had to pick and choose what I was going to keep in and what I was going to keep out. But I really appreciate you coming today, my man.
No, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Now, I mentioned right off the hop about the decorated hockey family. So, I mean, I want the listeners and viewers to know right off the bat exactly who your family is. Now, I want you to say the pronunciation of your father's first name because we were just joking about that, yeah. And then I promise you I won't get it wrong after that.
Yeah, my dad's name's Khalil, and yeah, we're the Thomas family, hockey family, and hopefully many more hockey players to come. But yeah, everyone in our family loves hockey, and it makes it a little bit easier to chase my dreams with a bunch of family behind me, kind of supporting me. So yeah.
Absolutely, that's an incredible answer. So I got Khalil and I got Leo Thomas, which is your father and your uncle. Now, the more interesting thing when I was looking up their stats is that I have some stuff in common with your old man, with your pops. I seen that he played for the Rochester Americans. I seen that he played for the St. John's Maple Leafs, which was my favorite team to play against. I also seen that he played in the LNAH, which is the historic Quebec Semi-Pro League. But man, when your uncle also played in that league, when they played in the league, man, was it ever tough. Toughest league in the world. You were only about 5 or 6 at the time. I think it was in 2005, so you probably don't have too much memories of that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I remember my dad went there, and I think he came back early.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it was his vibe, really. So I remember him going out there, and I remember kind of seeing his jersey, and I really liked the logo, so he actually got me like a mini jersey myself, and it was one of my favorite jerseys to wear growing up. So yeah, the Radio X or something like that.
Yeah, Quebec Radio X.
Yeah.
Played out of the Colisée, which is pretty cool too. I totally understand why it may have not have been his thing, man, because I mean your father was more of a skilled guy. But this league was like, 5, 6 heavyweights on every team. So he was probably like, man, I don't mind playing, but I got to see 10 fights every game. I'd probably rather just play somewhere else. So I don't blame him. It was a pure tough guy league at the time. There was probably about a line or two of guys that were skilled, which your father was obviously one of them, as well as your uncle. But man, that was really cool to kind of see that. Akil, I'm a guy that really likes to get to the beginnings. I really like to talk about how people grew up. I like to try to find out how these big characters were actually created. Yeah. So now I know you had quite of a unique childhood, man. I know your father, his last 3-4 seasons played in Florida, in the state of Florida, and it says online that you grew up in Orlando. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. My dad played in Orlando and Jacksonville, and so we were kind of stationed out there in Florida, and so I think those are some of the best days of my life. Like, I had an amazing time playing hockey in Florida and made a lot of memories, and obviously it was just a nice place to live and pretty affordable, so it seemed like everything was kind of good back then. And I had a great time, and unfortunately I think those two teams folded, and that was kind of the end of my dad's career, but we made the most out of our time there, and I really miss those days.
Right on, and I appreciate you sharing that. So now, growing up in Florida, being a hockey guy, very unique situation. Although Florida, I believe now is kind of like one of the more bigger powerhouses of states in the U.S. I know Peter Worrell is doing an incredible job reaching out to the community with the Florida Panthers, and Florida's like it's a pretty hot spot for hockey now. Did you see that growing up there?
So I would say that I've seen the growth in the game in Florida the last 10 years, even like from when I moved, and the reason being is I think there was probably 8 or 10 rinks when I was in Florida, like in the whole state, and now there's probably like 25. They've doubled the rinks, and I heard I think Gretzky's building a rink down there. I heard something like that. So
I did too. Yeah.
I think just with the success of obviously the Panthers and the Lightning, it's getting people excited about hockey, and a lot of people are starting to move there to train and stuff for the off season as well. So
I am noticing that as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. It's a good perspective, kind of to hear from people that were actually there. We hear about all this stuff, but it's great. It's great that you let us know that. So now, I mean, online it says around 11 years old that you guys moved back to Toronto. The hockey hotbed of North America.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of talk about the minor hockey a little bit. We were both, when I was there, MTHL. When you were there, the now GTHL. You played for the Toronto Marlies, pretty historic Toronto minor hockey team.
Yeah.
Do you still have some buddies that played on that team that you might still be friends with now?
Oh, of course, yeah. I think I really try to keep in touch with everyone.
Yes.
And, luckily there's a couple guys playing in. Well, there's Kevin Ball playing on New Jersey. So, a couple guys made it, pro, and obviously when you're younger, everyone kind of thinks they're going to the NHL, but we had a few guys actually kind of make it. So, we had a good group there, and those are obviously the best days of hockey.
Yes, I mean the days that we enjoyed going to the rink, the days that we had the most fun, I think it was when we were kids. And that's kind of why I try to preach to some of the parents these days, not to put too much pressure on the kids. The schedules are so full already. As being a Marley, I was a Don Mills Flyer. I mean, we're at the rink, 5-6 times a week. And then, I don't know about your team, but my team, we probably played in the most summer tournaments as well. So I don't know if you guys were obviously year-round as well with the Marlies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we weren't year-round. We would play, I think, kind of September to March. But I was a big summer hockey kid.
Right on.
That's where I had a lot of my fun. And with my uncle, Jason Payne, he would kind of coach, and I would be in charge of basically recruiting a whole team. And we would go around and go to Niagara, go to Buffalo, and just kind of have a boys' weekend almost at 13, 14, and just play hockey. So that was really a big part of my development, and just kind of my journey of hockey as well.
Yes. Now, I mean, I had a smile on my face, bro, when you said the name Jason Payne. Jason Payne, I'm a big Jason Payne fan, and now that was actually brought up, I would actually like to talk about your uncle and Jason. I mean, your uncle, I have the information here. In 2018, was named the coach of the Mayhem team in Florida, which is an SBHL team. Now, when that was official, he, I believe, was the second black head coach in pro hockey, and that's a big accomplishment. But then, a few years later, your uncle, Mr. Jason Payne, becomes the head coach of the Cincinnati Cyclones, which, in my opinion, man, I was so proud of Jason when I heard this news. Cincinnati's probably one of the best places to play right now in the coast. And honestly, bro, it's affiliated with the Buffalo Sabres, and I think Jason has a pretty good path to the NHL. What was your relationship like with Jason? I know you just mentioned a little bit with the tournaments and whatnot, but like, did you ever think that he was going to be this big time in the coaching and pro hockey?
I did. I actually did. I figured it was just a matter of time. He was coaching, youth hockey in Toronto when I was growing up, and obviously, good mind for hockey. So I think I always knew he would probably coach pro, and obviously really good for him being, the second, black head coach. And hopefully he, has continued success with Cincinnati. And obviously it's just kind of like a system where it's affiliated, so he just has to do his time and do well. And I'm sure good things will happen, and hopefully he'll be in the NHL one day.
Absolutely, I believe that too. So Mr. John Paris Jr., he was the first. That was in the 90s. Now, John Paris was one of the first black hockey players to obviously play in the National Hockey League. Your uncle Leo, number 2, and then Jason, I believe, is number 3.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So that's history right there, my friend, and you are all up in that. I think that's absolutely incredible. So now, I want to get to some topics that we have in common. Now, we were talking before the show, brother, about St. Michael's College School. Yeah. But even before that, Upper Canada College. Now, for the listeners and viewers, the schools that I just mentioned are probably the 2 most prestigious schools in Toronto, I think. I think UCC is 1 and St. Mike's is 2. That's my opinion. Yeah. People could do vice versa. But the point is how incredibly awesome that these programs are and the experience that kids get. Now, brother, when I went to St. Mike's, I'll be honest with you, I went from my local high school in Scarborough, Pope John Paul II, to St. Mike's. I felt like I was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I felt like I was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with my inside-out blazer. In the beginning, I kind of felt like I was a little bit different, but then the group will welcome you. It's a special brotherhood, man, at these schools. That's very hard to explain to people. And I had an incredible experience, and to this day, I have so many good friends, man, that I met at St. Mike's. And Upper Canada College, I had an opportunity this year to actually ref in a league that was right on campus, and man, like I just got the same vibe that I did with St. Mike's. I'm sure that you had the same type of experiences.
Yeah, no, I think when you're just in Toronto or whatever, and you meet someone who went to St. Mike's, you kind of look at them a little bit differently, and it's like you said, it's a brotherhood, and same with UCC. I had a really good time at both schools, and I'm so thankful for both schools. It was honestly, I couldn't have gone better. Obviously, there were some tough days with school being hard at both places, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And like I said, just so many memories and so many brothers. And I would send my son to both those schools. And
Absolutely, man, and I appreciate that answer. Just for the record, I mean, I think it's a record temperature at Bottomline tonight. I know there's in our studio, everybody's got their handkerchief, which I do as well, but it's also because of my big-time guests. I also get a little bit nervous for the big guests. But, I mean, just to add to the St. Mike's experience, 6 periods a day, was that what it was like when you were there?
Yeah.
6 periods a day, tie all the way up. If the shoes are not tied up, you're getting detention.
Yep.
If your shirt's not tucked in, you're getting detention. I know that we had a guy named Mr. Pagano that was our vice principal, and this man used to hide in the bushes right outside of St. Clair West subway station. And if you didn't have your shirt tucked in and your tie all the way up, Mr. Pagano would jump out of those bushes and he'd be like, you, and you, detention today. and we'd be like, man, we just got out of the subway. But you know, it's about the discipline and it's about doing the right thing. And St. Mike's and UCC really install that in the kids. Yeah. And you know, as you see, my guest recommends, parents, if you're on the fence, St. Mike's is the place to enroll your kids if you have that opportunity. So I'm glad that we were able to get that out. As far as St. Mike's goes, I got to ask you about the Buzzers, dude. You played for the Buzzers too, man. That's a historical team, bro.
Yeah.
How did you guys do that season?
Yeah, so I was like an AP with them, like a call-up. So I think I only played like 2 or 3 games with the OJ team, like the junior A team.
Yes.
So not much to experience with them, but it was fun. It was a good time. And obviously, you know, I was a young kid, like watching them practice all the time and kind of looking at them like, oh, that'd be cool one day. So yeah, that was a cool experience. And I played for like the St. Mike's, you know, U15, U14, U16 teams, and that was unbelievable. Just
the Double Blues?
Double Blues, yeah. And it's just really cool with, you know, the whole school being let out for a lot of our games, and for, you know, us to have a platform to kind of go out and perform in front of like our classmates was unbelievable, and a lot of good memories, and you know, that's part of why I love the game. Honestly, those school hockey games with, you know, playing rival schools like SAC and all those schools. It was De La Salle, and all those schools. So it was fun. And I had such a blast playing in those games.
Right on, buddy. I really appreciate you sharing that. So, I guess the time that I kind of want to go to now, Akil, is it's going to be a really exciting time in your life. It's right before the OHL draft. So now I have a couple questions for you. First off, I know that they changed the draft, man, from when I got drafted to when you got drafted. Mine was the NHL style draft. So we all were at the arena. All the teams were at the tables on the floor. Yep. You get called up. You get to walk down, take the pictures with the owner and the coaches, and it was awesome. Now it's just online, but the hype is still the same before the draft.
Yeah.
So leading up to the draft, like, did you know it was going to be Niagara Falls? Like, how high were you rated if you went 12th overall?
Yeah. I knew I was going to Niagara. We talked to them kind of before the draft, and for me it was kind of like a Niagara or like college thing for me.
Okay.
I probably would have considered going to other teams, but I remember in my draft you're kind of telling teams like, I would rather go to school than play, you know, for you guys. And that, I don't know if that was necessarily true back then, but that's just how the OHL draft works. It's kind of you know, it's crazy, but yeah, I wanted to go to Niagara, and I had a really good time there, so I don't regret anything, and yeah, it was an amazing time in Niagara.
So now the area is pretty cool. The team wasn't in the league when I was there. I was an original Ice Dog, so I was in that incredible team in Mississauga. Don Cherry is the owner, Rick Vive is the coach. The year that I was there, I'm laughing because the team only won 3 games the year that I was there. I was traded before Christmas, but the franchise was pretty strong. And I know that when they moved the team to Niagara Falls, they had really good ownership and they were backed by some really good groups. Now, where exactly was your arena? Where was the rink?
Yeah, in St. Catharines, downtown St. Catharines.
Okay.
They built like a new rink, actually, I think, you know, maybe a couple years before I went. So wow. I kind of came in, and we were in this brand new, really nice rink, and it was, probably one of my favorite rinks to ever play at. It was really fun.
Man, I think you had some fun, Akil, because, you broke the record for most points by a rookie Ice Dog.
Yeah.
Do you still have that record?
No, it just got broken, actually.
It just got broken?
This season, yeah.
By who? Who's the culprit, man?
I think his name is Dylan Rubrick or something.
Dylan?
Yeah, he's. I've seen some highlights. He's a really good player, and obviously to break a record like that, you got to be really good. So I'm gonna kind of look out for him in the next couple of years and see what he does. And obviously it's like weird when someone breaks your record, but I was super happy for him, and I think he's gonna be a really good player. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna kind of keep tabs on him.
Definitely, man. And hey, Dylan, I'm just joking, buddy. Congratulations for breaking the new record. This was this season, you said?
Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. It must have been a really big year, bro, for him to break your record. You had a really big rookie season.
Yeah.
So much, in fact, that, like, I kind of wanted to talk about I'm like, and I know you got traded to Peterborough towards the end of your career in the OHL, which we'll get into, but you spent some really quality years in Niagara Falls. Do you consider Niagara kind of like your second home now? Did you have the same billets the whole time? Did you switch a couple times?
I switched once after my first year, and then I had the same ones for 3 years, and I still keep in touch with them. I see them every summer.
Yeah.
And they were really good to me. I had awesome time at their house as well. And
what's their family's name? Their last name?
Christine and Randy Loudon.
Christine and Randy?
Yeah, Loudon, yeah.
Shout out to Christine and Randy.
Yeah.
Great billets. You guys created an NHL star.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. No, but because Niagara Falls, it's a tourist spot.
Yeah.
It's a tourist spot. It's very fun, but to make it your home, I just wondered how close you were to the community. So you're very close. You loved it. Very good relationship with your billets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different now. I think that the owners aren't the same and the coaches aren't the same, and some of my younger kind of teammates my last year are now out of the league.
Yep.
So I mean, it was kind of a home until kind of all that stuff happened where they sold the team and the coaches left and everything. So not as much anymore, which is kind of sad, but. I think forever, at least a little bit of it will be home to me for sure. Yeah.
Right on, buddy. I appreciate you sharing that so much. So now, I mean, the first and second year, very good seasons. Your second year for the Ice Dogs was your NHL draft year, right? Yep. Correct? Okay.
Correct.
So now this year must have been a very exciting year, man. The thing that's confusing about the draft is how they have the North America ratings, the Europe rating. So it's okay, I'm rated, let's say, 20th in North America. There's 30 picks in the draft. Looks like I'm but wait a second, now it's a worldwide sport.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how they do it like that. It doesn't really give guys a very, very good idea. But you were rated high. You must have got a lot of attention. You definitely earned that attention with your hard work and good work ethic. What were your feelings going into the end of the year? Did you feel a lot of pressure? Were you the whole family's depending on me to get drafted? I'm from a hockey family. How was your look on that season?
I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I don't think I felt like the whole family was depending on me, but there was a little bit of that aspect, I think, and I definitely wanted to go high, for my family and be in a position where, I could play in the NHL one day. So, definitely a lot of pressure, and like you said, I was kind of rated pretty high and ended up kind of slipping a little bit more than I was expecting. I genuinely thought I was going to go first round and ended up not. And, now that I'm a couple years out of the draft, the draft doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
So it's not it wasn't the end of the world. And, maybe on draft day it maybe felt like that. But definitely lit, a fire under me. And I've improved kind of my work ethic from that day. I think I just was kind of pissed off a little bit, and that helped me, I think. So
for sure. I think that's cool. That's cool. Sometimes when things don't work out exactly the way we want, it does give us the motivation to work harder. Gets us more hungry. Hey man, sometimes it may even have worked out better for us that way, right?
Yeah.
Except for signing bonus money, maybe. But I mean, I think, second round pick is very respectable, man.
Thanks.
And that's a great job. Congratulations on that for sure, buddy. Now, where was the draft?
Dallas.
No way.
Yeah.
So who all went?
A lot of people, and that's I think we had an RV full of people.
No way. You guys took an RV down to Dallas?
Yeah. And I think kind of the thing that made it a little bit tougher was everyone had plans for the second day of the draft, which is the second round on.
Oh.
And so some people were leaving. Some people came and didn't get to see me because their plans were to stay day one, see Akil get drafted, and then whatever. So in a way, I kind of felt like I ruined the family trip a little bit by going to second round. But yeah, when I look back at it, it's funny and all good. I'm where I wanted to be anyways. So yeah.
See, man, they really messed with you because my draft year, I think rounds 1, 2, and 3 were the first day, and then the rest was the second day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, but you know what? Even if they were there or not, buddy, I bet you deep down in their hearts, it was probably the best thing going in their lives at that time. Yeah. So people were probably just ecstatic, bro, for you to get picked. Yeah. I wanted to kind of ask you a question now that we're on it. I kind of talked about this a lot. I haven't, a lot, like before, not recently, but I'd like to bring it up again, and it's about the NHL draft. The way that I look at it is that it's a family accomplishment.
Yeah.
The way that I look at the draft is, pretty much they're recognizing your family for all the hard work over the years, the sacrifices that your family's made, especially your mom and dad, and they're pretty much saying, look, we're giving your son an opportunity. It's up to him from this point on. But this draft is to recognize what you guys have done. And that's really the way that I look at it. How do you kind of look at like stuff like that? Like,
yeah, I mean, it really took a lot to get me there, right?
Yes.
And I think getting drafted was like a little bit more special for my family, just because they could kind of see and support me the whole way up and kind of see me, accomplish little things step by step. And for me, it's just I love hockey, keep going, and so I mean, it was cool for me, but I think for me it was cooler for my family. So,
right on, man. So now I'm trying to, and I you know what, I got to clap for that. I appreciate you sharing that. Family is so important in this process that it needs to be let known. I want to kind of keep with the storyline a little bit. After the draft, obviously you had a couple more years in the O. Now I know that you signed a little bit early.
Yeah. Right?
Compared to most entry-level signings. When exactly was that time that you did sign your entry?
Yeah, it was actually funny. The day I signed, I was on the way to a game in Barrie. I signed it on my laptop against the Colts, and it was obviously a really special day signing my first contract, and then I ended up hitting 100 points that day too.
I did read that. Yeah. The 100 points that game, you reached the 100-point mark. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So now, was that the first year? The first year of you playing after the draft, or was it the second season?
That was the first year.
It was the first season. So man, did you ever impress some people in training camp?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible, brother.
I actually had a bad first training camp, yeah.
You had a bad one?
Yeah, because I got hurt at the World Junior Summer Showcase, and I shouldn't have participated, honestly, in camp, but I think kind of the way my dad raised me was just like, if you can do it, then like try and
push.
So I didn't really, I was young, and I didn't really know much, and I didn't really realize that maybe, a bad showing at camp could hurt me. And I think it did for like a little bit, but I had a good season, and obviously they signed me at the end of the year, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have participated in camp, but that's just, how I was raised, and I didn't want to miss an NHL camp. I wanted it to go, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there was a little bit of bad luck with injuries. We're skipping a little bit. We're skipping over Peterborough. We're going straight to the AHL. My first questions for you, just so the viewers and listeners have a better idea about the LA Kings organization. The LA Kings historically have had their affiliate up in Manchester, which is the opposite side of the country. But I don't know how long it's been, Akil, but I think maybe you can answer that. Do you know how many years Ontario? Okay, so I think that the AHL Ontario reign has been about 6 seasons now, I believe. Okay?
I think a little bit more.
A little bit more.
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
So we think it might be a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But my point being is that everything, like you told me before the show, is in the LA area.
Yeah.
All the AHL players are living in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
All the NHL players are living in Los Angeles. It's like a big happy family, man.
Yeah.
So now, what rink are you guys playing out of?
Yeah, it's called Toyota Sports Performance or Toyota Sports Center, some TSC. Yeah. So it's a little practice facility in El Segundo, right by the airport. So.
But is it the Kings practice facility?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Oh,
our locker rooms are right next to each other. One's probably a little bit nicer than the other, but
yeah, just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But no, it's a really nice facility, and it's easy for us because it's like a 10 to 15 minute drive, depending on where we live, obviously. But no traffic really for the most part, and it's just an easy life over there. And yeah,
absolutely, man. That's really cool. Like, so pretty much, they're grooming you guys to become real La La Land citizens, like really real LA citizens. Like you're doing a couple years for the Ontario reign, which is in LA. You're all prepared. The weather, everything is normal. Everything's normal to you. You go up to the show and you're able to just move right in there.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
That's the best part.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good family friends with the Feudas.
Okay.
Mike Feuda is a mentor of mine, and he was one of the guys, one of the masterminds behind the Stanley Cups about 10 years ago, and he was telling me like how the lifestyle is a little bit different for someone that plays professional hockey in LA compared to someone that plays, let's say, in Buffalo or Rochester, New York. It's a whole different lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you guys are mastering that lifestyle with the Reign, and I think it's a very, very good system, man. I'm assuming that you agree.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's cool to just be able to golf all year round, and walk down to the beach in maybe a minute, depending on where you live. I've lived like in 2 places now where I can see the ocean, the water from my front door. So it's a really cool lifestyle, and weekends, day offs, volleyball, beach tennis. It's just it's really cool, cool setup, and everyone who comes like for the first couple of years, they're just like in awe of everything. So yeah.
Well, I got a brother that lives in LA right now, and Patrick McMorrow. And he tells me like how awesome the area is and whatnot. But all this talk about the beach. So there must have been a couple situations where you were saying that the beach is that way. The beach is that way. So that's really cool, man. I can't get over that. So now we're talking LA organizations here. I want to know the Akil Thomas story of how you found out that you were called up this year. I believe it was March 31st.
Yeah.
Tell us that incredible story, man.
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, we live in LA, so on game days, we got to drive to Ontario in the morning after pregame skate.
And it's Ontario County?
Ontario, California. It's like a little city.
Oh, so it is a city. Okay, right.
A little town, a little town. Cool. So we drive to a hotel, and we eat pregame meal, and then we take a nap basically for the game. And so I just ate, and me and some of the guys, we got into this routine where we would play, like, there's a pool table, so we do like a mini tournament before we go nap.
Yep.
And so we were playing pool, and then our head coach kind of comes up to me and kind of says, hey, like, you don't need to finish that game, like, you're getting called up. And I was like, what? And then he just told me, like, yeah, you're getting called up. So I had to go upstairs, and when I was upstairs just kind of packing my stuff, I get an email with my itinerary for a flight out of LAX in like a few hours. So I had to borrow my roommate's car, drive it home from Ontario, drive home. I called my girlfriend Vic on the way home and asked her to pack some stuff because I needed to go to Calgary.
Yeah.
So it kind of happened really quick, and it was kind of funny because it was like the first day my girlfriend was there.
Was visiting?
It was visiting.
No
way.
way.
She was visiting for only a few days, and I had to leave.
What kind of good luck is that, though?
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Bring her more often, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's super cool, man. So now you mentioned Calgary. So was the first game of the road trip in Calgary and the second game in Winnipeg?
I'm not sure because I don't know where they played kind of before. I know that I got in during the Calgary game, so I didn't play.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah, I just met them at the hotel after.
Wow.
And they lost. I think they lost pretty big, and they were not happy. So it's kind of like a weird situation where I'm
a weird vibe.
Really happy to be called up, but like the guys are the most pissed I've ever seen them. So then we went to Winnipeg the next day, and then played it the day after.
So now Winnipeg. Very interesting place to play. They had the Manitoba Moose in the AHL that I got to play against in the same arena, which was the MTS Center back then. Very loud fans. Pretty cool hotel right at Main and Portage. I don't know if they use the same.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm mentioning it is because the coldest intersection in Canada, apparently, is Main and Portage in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Just the way the buildings are structured.
Then I think it is.
The way the winds
It's pretty cold when I was there.
Oh, man, is it ever cold? Especially for an LA native like yourself. Man, okay, so, let's talk about this game, man. So, tell me about the game. What line were you on? What was going on? What was the coaches saying?
My first game I was on the fourth line.
Yes.
And it was 3 young guys. It was like the 3 youngest guys on the team. So I kind of had an idea we probably weren't going to play much with it being my first game as well, and it was a top team. Winnipeg was really, really good this year. So
Yes.
I had I think a couple shifts in the first period, and I think like my second or third shift, I like ran into my own teammate, and then I was like, oh shit, and then the D, like my D shot it, hit the boards, came out, and they scored. So I was like, oh fuck, like
I hear you.
this is brutal start, but I had a few more shifts. I think I ended up playing like 3 minutes that game, so had a few shifts.
It's not a bad first game, bro, at all.
Just try to like kind of hit as much as possible and just do like the little things to kind of make me stand out, honestly, and just to earn a couple brownie points, I guess. So I just tried to do what I could, and luckily I just started to get a little bit more of an opportunity as the games went on. So
right on. Well, no, thank you for sharing that. So now I got a couple comments. The first one was, man, when I had heard that you got the call, I was pretty excited. I knew you were a Toronto guy. I've been friends with your father on social media for years.
Okay.
Like, I've kind of looked up to him because I knew that he played, and like his background and so on and so forth. So now, the thing that I wanted to ask you was, you obviously, I think you had 4 points in 7 games, correct?
Yeah.
You had 3 goals.
Yeah.
3 goals, bro. Let's talk about the first NHL goal, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that first NHL goal.
Yeah.
Take us through that shift. I was watching it today on YouTube, but take us through the shift.
Actually, I don't remember what happened before, but I just kind of, I saw, when you're playing and you kind of feel like an opportunity, like I just kind of felt that, like, okay, like something might happen here. So I kind of, I knew there was like a pass cross ice to Spenny, my good buddy, and it was kind of weird because we were kind of like coming at the seam like area, and then I kind of just went behind him, and I kind of just thought he would drop it to me for sure, and luckily he did. And that's just, I think I like to like pull and drag, kind of like I did in that video. So I've done that shot a million times, and obviously was lucky to score that. And I think I was kind of surprised when it went in. So I figured, I figured like my first NHL goal would take some time, and I wasn't prepared to kind of score so early. I didn't expect to, so I was.
What game was that?
I think game number 2.
That was number 2.
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man. So, like, I mean, that's it. Yeah. We do have a capacity crowd here at Bottomline that's come. A couple issues earlier with some people, but that's great. It's all in good fun. So now, just before we continue, I just wanted to recognize the sponsor that we do have for today. Mr. Raymond LaRose powers the Sheriff Podcast this week. Raymond has been a supporter since day one, a very dear friend of mine. Raymond also plans on opening a youth center in the future. Shout out to Mr. Raymond LaRose, episode sponsor for Akil Thomas. So now, Akil, while we're on these teams, this LA powerhouse of an NHL, AHL in the same pretty much city. Man, I gotta talk about the night that yourself, Mr. Devontae Smith-Pelly, and Mr. Quinton Byfield all played on the same line, okay? So now, what makes this historical is that you guys are all black hockey players. The historical part of it is that very good family friends of mine, I know they're very good family friends of yours too, the Carnegies. Herb Carnegie, with the Quebec team, got to play with his brother and Mr. McIntyre, and they had a line that was actually probably the best in that league at the time, and it hasn't been done until the 3 of you did it. When exactly was that?
Oh, that was my first year pro.
Okay, so
at the end of the season.
That was over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, again, 2 amazing players. Did you guys realize that you guys would be making history when that happened? Or was it just, it was another day at the office, I was thinking that it was like.
Well, I mean, we didn't know that we were going to make history, but obviously when we saw the lineup, we looked at each other and we're like, we knew it was happening. But
that's pretty good lineup there. Yeah. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty, and you guys are all pretty close, or what?
Yeah. We had a good group, and we also had Boko on our team as well that year. He didn't play that game, unfortunately, but we had 4 black guys on the team that year.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's incredible, man. I mean, diversity in hockey is what everybody's pushing for now. I couldn't think of a more inspiring story than that, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I remember, like for some reason I didn't think it was your first year. I thought it was within the last 2 seasons. But I mean, it's such an incredible feat. I was so proud to see it. I'm a big history guy, so it's pretty special to me. So I definitely had to ask you about that one. Yeah, bro. So like, I mean, we talk about a lot of good things on the show. We talk about a lot of things that inspire, but we also talk about things that people have to work through and adversity. You've had a couple major surgeries, my man. Mm-hmm. Tell us, and were they all shoulder surgeries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what was the issue, man? Are you just putting guys through the boards too hard, or what's happening?
Yeah.
Bro?
So I hurt them in junior actually,
Okay.
and the doctors kind of told me like usually guys would kind of get surgery and that's an option, but it was we were going for it that year,
yeah.
And so I was like, I can't like just in my mind I was like I can't just like kind of get surgery and be out for the rest of the season.
No, this is the team. This is for the
Ice
Petes.
Dogs.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
before
my
the
third
Petes.
year,
before the Petes.
yeah.
Okay.
So they told me it could kind of heal by itself, but like we don't really know. But we'd recommend surgery, but it could possibly heal by itself. So I just figured I'll go with the chances, and they were fine for a couple of years. I had to play with a couple shoulder braces, which was fine.
Okay.
And then my first year pro, obviously it's a little bit. More physical, stronger guys, and a lot more games, and well, probably a little bit more games, but grown men. So my shoulders were kind of giving me issues a couple of times throughout the year. So they recommended I kind of get my shoulders done, and so I did. And unfortunately, I had to get this one done twice. And but hopefully this is the shoulder steel for now going forward. So yeah, and then I actually when I came back from both of my shoulders, I broke my foot in my second game.
No way.
I was out for another 9 weeks. So
jeez, buddy.
Yeah, it was a nightmare my first couple of years, but finally out of that.
So and thank you for sharing that. I'm assuming that you have a good relationship with the trainers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
right?
I mean, I don't know how many months I spent doing physio. Like a lot. Like maybe like a year's worth of physio, like 12 months maybe.
So now the strength coach for Ontario and LA, I'm sure you guys are pretty close.
Oh yeah,
He got you back.
All the workouts every day. Yeah.
What's his name? Is it the same guy?
They've kind of changed over the years,
it up?
but the guys that kind of had me the most was Andre Carrier and Aji, but
shout out to Andre and Aji.
Yeah.
Andre and Aji?
Yeah. So
right on.
Yeah, John Odgers. So yeah, I mean I spent so much time kind of going in there in the gym and not practicing, and maybe some days even being grumpy. So they them kind of being in good spirits and keep me happy, it helped a lot, honestly.
Right on, bro. That's incredible. So now I just had a question. So when someone gets a shoulder surgery, does that mean that it adds muscles to your traps? Because you got some really big traps, bro. Or is it the strengthening? Like, did you do a lot of shoulder shrugs? Like,
no, I just seen that.
You're being humble though, eh?
No, I don't think I did any shoulder shrugs, but
I'm just giving you a hard time.
It just kind of came with all the shoulder exercises that I was doing for the amount of years. It's just it's gonna happen. So yeah.
Right on, bro. I really appreciate you sharing that. So now, dude, okay, so my next few questions is a very important topic of mine. It's very, very, very important to me. The AHL Man of the Year. That was this season, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this season. So now, give us an example of what you guys would do as a charitable or promotional event for your team.
Yeah.
Give an example.
So there's this really, really cool girl named Blake Bolden, and she's kind of has her hands in a lot of things in LA and just in hockey in general. She was a former black female hockey player, so
right on.
She has some initiatives going on in the LA region, and I think for a day I went and like gave shooting lessons to a couple of her kids, and
Wow.
and just kind of hung out with them for a day. And obviously, it's pretty cool for those kids to meet pro hockey players and even train with them, so they kind of feel like they know what to do and how to get better. Maybe they can look up to me or whatever. And then
Definitely.
I have a clothing company called Zale, and every year we do like the Black History Month jerseys for the Kings. And
Really?
Yeah. And so then the team auctions the jerseys off, and we do merch like hoodies, t-shirts, and long sleeves, and all the proceeds go to an initiative of our choice. This year we chose Blake's initiative, and the year before we chose a different one. But yeah, I would think those two kind of things are an example.
So you would get to tie the clothing line, get to donate and promote at the
Yeah.
same time as doing the charity work in
Yeah.
the community.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's say this clothing line again. Let's
Yeah.
plug this.
It's right here.
Let's
Yeah.
plug it a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
this,
so I'm looking right at it.
Yeah.
Let's get the proper pronunciation here.
Yeah, it's called Zale.
So Zale.
Zale.
I like it,
Yeah.
bro.
Thank
It's
you.
sharp.
Appreciate it. This is I actually just picked the shirt up from my partner's place. We just received them. It's
Right on.
summer collection, so
Nice.
I'm pretty pumped for it. I think.
Okay,
people
so
like it.
how could one support you by getting one of these T-shirts or any other of your items?
Yeah, we have a website called zaleapparel.com.
ZaleApparel.com.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And we're on, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and on Facebook too, but mainly on Instagram and TikTok. So.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm out of the loop, man. I gotta join the Zale family right after the show. I'm gonna be following. I'm gonna request. Please accept my request. And that's incredible, brother. I'm very proud of that.
Thank you.
So now, okay, so have you had done any of these type of events in the OHL to prepare you for what you did this year, becoming AHL Man of the Year, which is given to the player that has the biggest impact in his community, ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know?
I think junior teams do a good job at getting the guys in the community. With Niagara and Peterborough, we would go to schools and go like kind of say speeches in front of like the whole school about how to like work hard and blah blah blah, and then usually we would play like ball hockey in the gymnasium with a few of the kids. So
Wow.
that was almost like a weekly thing. So it kind of it becomes normal, and then because we do it so often, you learn how to have fun with it, and you learn how to talk to kids, and maybe you just repeatedly seeing kids being inspired or you making them happy it starts to feel good.
So now, when you started doing more and more of these appearances and these events, it became easier for you.
Yeah, 100%. Especially like talking in front of people as well. Yeah.
You became more confident.
Yeah.
You got comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Have you possibly taken an interest on the other side of hockey because you're involved with the media and the front office?
Not really, honestly.
Not really?
No.
Okay, so every single point except for that last one,
Yeah.
we were on the same page.
Yeah.
Because for me, bro, and the reason why I'm saying this is I'm trying to encourage the young players to do this. It starts usually with a sheet in the dressing room. It did for us. So there'd be a sheet right by our sticks when we walked in. And it would be appearance, Rochester Public School, from 1 to 2 o'clock p.m. after practice. We need 3 players. So the guys on the team would all walk into the dressing room, they look at the paper, roll their eyes and be like, yeah, right, and keep going. For me, I would see that paper and I'd write my name. The experiences that I got, the people that I got to meet, the comfortableness that I gained, talking in front of people, being comfortable in front of the camera, it has impacted and inspired me for the years following my career. Mm-hmm. It only helps you, and it's only a good thing. I say sometimes that the word volunteer, I think, should be changed to the word opportunity. Because I don't know if you agree, bro, but by you volunteering to do all these things, I'm hoping that you saw all the opportunities that you were given and you obviously embraced it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think even just like kind of like seeing for yourself how much like me talking to kids or showing them how to shoot goes a long way.
Yes.
And as you get older, you hear stories of how maybe I was inspired by whoever. Anson Carter is one guy because
Yes.
I got
Anson,
a hockey action figure of him.
Okay.
It was the first black hockey action figure that I got, and for me it was like hockey action figures were my favorite thing, and I mean they were all white guys, so to see Anson Carter, I was like, oh, maybe I can have my own hockey action figure one day as well.
Thank you for sharing that. So now Anson's one of my favorite players too. So I'm just curious. I want to ask you. So other than the darker pigment in his skin, what was it that attracted you to Anson Carter? I'm gonna tell you mine. Like mine's a little bit obvious, but like what was it about Anson? Was it just the fact that he was the figurine, or did you watch him on TV? Did you follow him? Did you have his hockey cards?
I was too young to really I would be lying if I said I watched him and I knew how many points he had a year. Obviously, we all know he was a really good player. I think the hair was a big thing for me, and I think the no visor is just. It's an awesome look, and obviously nowadays guys can't really rock no visors, but the hair to me was
except for
awesome.
Revo.
Yeah.
He's one of the last ones, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Okay, man. So for me, man, it was 100%. It was the hair, bro. 100% it was the hair. It was those long dreads. This guy was a dread man playing in the NHL, bro, scoring goals. Like the guy was absolutely incredible, and I mean, Anson Carter, like to me, he seemed like he looked like a smart player. He looked like a smart player. I don't even know how you can look like a smart player, but he did. And the fact that he was so unique, man, he was so special to me. He inspired me so much. Big shout out to Anson Carter, Sean and Akil, big fans. Thank you very much for what you've done. Had to get that out there, buddy. So Akil, like you're the current AHL Man of the Year. Do you like so for the young kids that are seeing maybe the papers in their major junior dressing rooms to do the promotions, what advice do you have to them as the AHL Man of the Year to be taking up and signing up for these type of things?
Well, I think ultimately whatever you give, you gain, I think, and maybe not right away, but I think karma's real, and I think good things happen to good people. So, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. And I mean, you never really realize, how much something little could go far away in someone's life. So,
absolutely, man. And I gotta clap for that. So now, I'm gonna go right back to the family a little bit, man, because I'm so impressed with this. And the thing is I didn't really check your dad and your uncle's like hockey DB until like kind of right before I left here for the show. I'm like, you know what? I gotta know what teams they played for.
Yeah.
And then when I saw your dad play for the Rochester Americans, dude, I just thought that was so cool. Like I was mentioning before, like the St. John's Maple Leafs, that was my favorite team to play against because I was such a big Leaf fan growing up, and I got to play against guys like Nathan Parrott and all these guys with St. John's. And like, your father played there too. But the reason why I want to bring your father and uncle back up is because of the championships that they've won.
Yeah.
I noticed that they both won like 3 championships, right? And I know that I know that your dad and your uncle both scored some game-winning goals as well, buddy. But you're known for game-winning goals as well. I know I'm going a little bit back in the time zone here, but World Juniors, buddy.
Yeah.
Gold medal, Czech Republic. Let's talk about that, bro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that was I think growing up, like World Juniors was almost like making the NHL for me.
Yes.
I would come back to Canada for Christmases, down in Florida, wherever I lived, and World Juniors was like the biggest thing. And in Toronto, you walk into a bar and World Juniors would be on everywhere. And
everywhere.
In Florida, no one knows what hockey is. So for me, World Juniors is like a really cool thing and a big stage, obviously. So to make that team was like a dream come true, and a lot of ups and downs throughout the tournament. In junior I was used to playing a lot, and on that World Junior team, I wasn't playing much at all, and because we had such a good team, right? And that's kind of the sacrifice the third and fourth liners have to make on those Team Canada teams because they're first liners on any other team. So it was tough. It was a really tough experience, honestly, for me not playing, but.
Very big goal, though.
Yeah, try to just kind of stick with it, and I figured like if I can sneak out of this tournament with maybe like a clutch goal or something, like that's huge. So that kind of came true, and I can't believe it still sometimes.
So tell us about the goal, buddy. I'm not letting you off that easy.
Yeah. Well, I think I only had like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe shifts in the whole game.
Okay.
So I was just kind of glued to the bench, and basically someone got hurt.
Yeah, your opportunity came.
Yeah, and I knew the coach kind of needed to put someone out there to replace him, and I kind of just felt like he was going to call me for some reason, and I don't even remember kind of hopping out on the ice, but I remember just having the mindset of like I'm just going to skate as fast as I can because I have like 40 seconds to score, and like this is my last shift of World Junior history for me. So if I can score, like that'd be kind of cool. And I luckily kind of a neutral zone kind of pass kind of hit off someone's stick, and it went kind of down the ice, and I had a perfect lane in the net, and I just kind of went in doubt, go backhand, and it went in, and I don't even really remember what happened from there. It was just blackout, and then obviously we had a couple more minutes left on the clock, and that was the longest 3 minutes of my life for sure.
Yeah. So do you have the puck?
I don't know.
Yeah,
actually,
that's a good question. Eh? You might have the puck.
I might have the puck. I definitely have the medal and the jersey. That's kind of. I know where those are.
Yeah.
The puck. I don't think so. I honestly don't think I have the puck, but you never know. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, it's a good question. I should know that.
No, that's fine, buddy. Congratulations. I mean, you're a national hero.
Yeah. Thank you.
For scoring for us, man.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. So now just a couple more things before we go. I know that that I mentioned in the intro that you're the second youngest. Now, I'm not sure if I'm absolutely accurate, but I do know that there is one family member that's younger than you that's a pretty highly touted hockey player playing for the Little Caesars team in Detroit.
Yeah.
Who is that?
My little cousin Tristan.
Cousin Tristan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cousin Tristan. What position does Cousin Tristan play?
I think he's a centerman. So, same position.
Do they still have those orange pants?
Yeah.
They still have the orange Little Caesars pants.
Yeah.
Tristan, tell your owner to switch it up, bro. Those pants, man, when we played against them, I remember when they get dirty, they look terrible. When they were new, they look terrible.
Yeah.
Get rid of those orange pants, Little Caesars.
Yeah, so he's a player, and he reminds me a lot like myself, and I think he's going to be better. So
you think so?
I'm really excited to kind of follow
and so, sorry, how old is he? Like 13?
I think he's 13 he's probably 13 now. Yeah.
Wow. Little Caesars. Well, you guys when you were in tournaments with the Marlies, you guys must have played against Little Caesars.
All the time.
Yeah, I think they're probably the top program. Well, Detroit CompuWare and Little Caesars, those two teams, I thought were the two biggest programs. But this is the reason why I want to mention this is I'm just trying to show how highly decorated your family is for hockey.
Yeah.
When I spoke to your father through social media messaging, he was mentioning to me that he thinks that your family is like the first legit black hockey family with all these members.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if you are the family that has the most members? Like I guess it'd be kind of like a new category since we're getting into all this new stuff. But you're proud regardless, though.
Yeah. Oh, very, very proud. And like I said, I think we have a few more Thomases to come that will come up and be good at hockey. Tristan being one, and my sister just had 2 boys, so we're gonna get them in skates next week.
Man. Oh man.
So I'm excited for the future, but I don't know about. I haven't really thought about that too much. Yeah.
Well, hey man, it's only something positive to look into. So maybe we will look into that. But yeah. So all right. So right now, I know that you had your entry level contract. I know that they re-signed you, and you had your first full season injury free this year.
Not really, actually. I got hurt.
Oh, not really?
I got hurt this year, yeah.
Well, what was it?
I got, my knee I got blown up, yeah. But I only missed, 2 weeks, so it wasn't too bad, yeah.
Minor injury compared to the major surgery that you had.
Yeah.
Was able to play a full season, technically.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Called up to the National Hockey League, able to reach your dream. Produced very well while you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at this summer, man? Like what are you were a restricted free agent?
I signed last week.
You signed last week.
Yeah.
You signed last week. Okay, man. You signed last week. This missed the headlines. This is a very big deal, man.
Yeah.
So that's a relief.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
Were you guys
100%.
keeping this secret?
Well, I didn't expect it to kind of happen that quick either.
Okay, so you didn't expect it either.
It wasn't really a relief because I didn't even have time to think about it. It was, 2 weeks after the season ended, so
okay.
Usually, typically things take a little bit longer. So I didn't really expect it.
So who's your agent, bro?
Eustace King.
Eustace.
Yeah.
Eustace.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eustace.
Yeah.
Eustace, great guy. I know Eustace very, very well.
Yeah.
Very good agent, Eustace King.
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable. So, you got a 1-year deal, 2-year deal? What'd you get?
2-year deal.
2 years. Woo, buddy. That man, I can't even tell you how happy I am to hear that. Honestly, bro, this is unbelievable, bro. A 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Kings, buddy. That's unbelievable. And you know what? I don't even think that we can top that. We're probably going to have to end it there. That is incredible. Is there anything else, brother, that you'd like to say before we go? My thing that I like to say is your cousin in Little Caesars. Just make sure that you tell the owner about those orange pants.
Yeah, no, nothing to say. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, buddy, I appreciate you coming on so much. You made me so happy today. That last bit of news, that definitely made my day, bro. So I gotta clap one more time. But I had an incredible time, bro. This was so fun to me. I'm so proud of you, bro. This is a time in your life to be very proud and to be very excited, buddy, because the sky's the limit. I can't even imagine how well you're going to do this season, buddy, but I'm going to be pulling for you. I hope that we can stay in touch.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the viewers and listeners for tuning into another episode of The Sheriff. We will see you guys soon. Woo!
It's The Sheriff Podcast, baby.